panels things. With the mobile classroom, I wanted to, that was kind of the next thing I wanted to look into, was making our mobile classroom, because it runs, we have a mini split in there that does our heating and cooling, a mini fridge, turn on the microwave every once in a while for me to make a lunch. But most of the time it's like my monitor, computer, you know, maybe the kids charge up a phone and stuff. I thought it'd be interesting to do that. And, you know, it's kind of the same thing as far as storage goes. I mean, I don't know how far off the ground with a trailer that moves across town once a year. Like, so that was all very interesting. So whatever you guys do on that, I want to watch or know or whatever.
I'm sure it'll be up on the Instagram, if anything, if we start changing anything.
Matt, that's such a good idea. And honestly, your house, I'm going to make a prediction. You know, it's not popular prediction, but like, I really do think that most of the houses are going to be off the grid coming up. That won't be a weird thing. That'll be like a normal thing to have a battery at your house.
My ultimate goal is to do a net zero house eventually. Like, for newer guys, or I don't know, maybe you guys haven't heard me talk about it, but that was a big thing we did, was bringing in building science into it, and energy efficient, the higher performance house. Using less electricity. Like, we have like a really tight house built and stuff, so we'll have a compact ductwork system and smaller units to heat and cool. And we didn't do it this time, but we probably will next time. Is have it set up for, even though, like I said, around here it's big trucks still, but have it set up so you could put in your the electric charge a car. Have it set up in the wall, so if you ever wanted it, it's there. Hook it up, you're ready to go. If not, then it's just there. So, but yeah, our ultimate goal, I would love to eventually have net zero. In fact, you're right, Ron. At some point, net zero is going to be the way. I think it's coming. How fast, I don't know, but
I have no idea how long it's going to take, but it's here. You know, because it's really going to come down to, like, early adopters are more like, they're like modern day hippies. They're like, oh, I want to get off the grid. That's great, and that's fine for some people that can do it. Excellent. But when it comes to the mainstream, it's going to be about cost and convenience. And people are going to realize, wait, so not only do I not lose electricity when there's a storm come through, but also I can maybe save some money during the spikes in summer and stuff like that. And if your house is more efficient, that's something I don't know too much about, but a friend of mine used to do the blower door and check, right? Yeah,
we did.
That's a big thing. I mean, the house I'm in, I rent. You can feel the cold spots. You don't even need the blower door. I'll tell you where the cold spots are, you know, and I'm paying for that. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, and that was one of the things, you know, we bought a blower door kit. So I own a blower, or the school owns a blower door kit, and we do them. You know, we took a thermal imaging camera around and found air leaks and stuff like that. And we filled the house full of smoke from like a theater fogger. Then you guys watched the Build Show Network with Matt Reisinger and those guys, Jake Bruton. Bruton came up. I've gotten to get good buddies with him. He came up and we did all that, and it's on the Build Show Network, talking about that. And the kids actually, we built the house so tight we hit passive house numbers on air exchanges, which was pretty impressive, because
that's a higher number. Like, there's improvements, but then I heard passive house is a whole different level, right?
Yeah, it's all like certifications and stuff, and there's more to passive house than just a tight envelope. But so, like, the numbers you'll hear, like for Illinois, where we're at, code would be 3 air exchanges per hour at 50 Pascal, which is, I think it's at 100-mile wind on all sides of the house. I forget all that technical part, but anyways, code is 3. And passive house is 0.6, and we hit a 0.53.
Wow.
So that was really good, obviously really good. So the simplest way to put it is, like, for code, we have our windows are 3 foot by 5 foot casement windows. If you cracked open the window like 3 to 5 inches and left it open all the time, you're within code. So you're literally paying to have your window open, and then passive house is like having a hole in your wall like that big. Wow. So it's yeah, it's really cool and stuff. And what?
Great analogy.
Yeah, and so once I started telling people that, like, they're like, wait a minute, what? And you know, because there's a bunch of old farmhouses, old whatever around here, and I mean they're leaky, and so it's one of those things. Now, if you get that tight, you have to put an air exchange in because you have to get rid of stale air and bring in fresh air.
I was just gonna ask that, like, okay, so it's tight now, but now it's like kind of stuffy. Like, what do you do?
Yeah, so for us, there's the ERVs or HRVs, and for us, we'll put ERV, which is energy recovery ventilation. And what it does is it somehow the air streams cross, but the air doesn't touch, and it helps with the humidity. I mean, it's all balanced, and like the people that. So the way this all got started was the architect Steve Basic that we're working with. I saw his Fine Home Building article and videos where they just did a passive house for one of the a retired electrical engineer, and not only was his house net positive, so that meant they not only were they net zero, they were bringing in even more than they needed. So he charged his car on that. So now he had no house utility bills. He wasn't paying for gas, and you know, and I'm not like a super overly you know, hippie kind of guy, but I just thought that was so cool that your house could do that. I just think that's cool. So, you know, it was one of those things like, I want to do that. So that's how that all began for us. And I called Steve, and by that point, he couldn't help us. It was too late, but as far as designing the house, but he's like, hey, whatever you need help. And Jake showed us how to do the air sealing real simply. And, but yeah, like, in fact, I just finished my second semester in master's class. I'm not quite a doctor. I'm going for the master's. And I just did sustainability and construction, and I mean, all this stuff. And one of the little papers I had to write real quick was the video was literally on how everything is going to net zero eventually, and you know, so it was really interesting. And and especially since energy bills are just going up, they don't go down. You know, I mean, I could go on and on about where this is all going, but
no, it's true.
Yeah, I think
that's, you know, go ahead.
I was going to say the idea with the house was, though, to build it so if anybody ever wanted to put solar power panels on, assuming it's positioned right, it's all electric. They could hook it up. Our hot water tank heater is going to we'll have a heat pump on it. It's like over 100% efficient. So it doesn't even have to run off of like the electric very rarely and stuff. So yeah, it's cool. Like, I mean, this is where the building industry is going. The prices are coming down where it's getting more, really it's just, you know, the availability. Sometimes the prices are just expensive because it takes a lot to get it to where you're at, just because there's not factories everywhere producing this stuff. But yeah, it's,
you know, just to jump on one thing you said, there's the heat pump. I didn't know what that was. And a friend of mine installed it in his house, and it's super efficient.
Yeah.
It gives you like a crazy efficiency route, you know. Oh, cool. I think Justin's going to join us. That'd be great. So yeah, like that's such a cool thing. I mean, that's kind of the trend of where stuff's going, and it doesn't have to be like this ultimate thing. It just be little pieces at a time. If you get ready for, you know, let's see, you know, for, you know, like you said, if you get ready for people to have plug-in for their car, or if you get ready for pump panels, or you get ready with a heat pump instead of an air conditioner and a heater, you're already a step ahead. You know, I mean, listen, the future's here, just not all at once.